Yummy! So here we have some oxidized Porsche trim. If you've owned a Porsche, own a Porsche, or worked on a Porsche, you will know the unforgivable standard of these older scuttles. So, to fix this, I've got two options. I can cover the finish temporarily, or I can reverse it back to factory. And the reality is there's only one option for me here, and that's to reverse it. Solution Finish is the key product for reversing oxidation and leaving a finish that doesn't look like a half-sucked boiled sweet. You all know that sticky, sweet sort of finish that a horrible silicone trim dressing will leave. So, what is Solution Finish? Well, according to the Bump online, Solution Finish is an incredible new product that restores originally black surfaces to a deep, rich black finish without the quote-unquote wet look. Solution Finish dries quickly with no greasy residue. Our unique formula combines ancient ingredients with advanced polymer technology to provide a spectacular, long-lasting, black protective finish. Formulated for professional use only, it is a silicone-free solution that uses all natural oils and is VOC compliant. Right away, you can throw out the pro-use only quote. I 1000% guarantee to you it is easy to use at home for any non-professional. How does Solution Finish work? That is the key question. Knowing what is fine, knowing how gives you power. So it's a three-staged attack really. Solution Finish first dissolves the existing oxidation. So that white, chalky grey look, that's oxidation. When applied and left, it will dissolve that oxidation. Then with a patented process, it puts black carbon into the surface that you're treating and locks it in with a chemical reaction to prevent further oxidation. So in short, Solution Finish is a product that reverses a bad finish, adds carbon, and locks that in with some witchcraft. Now there's lots of ways to use it. And as you can see here, I like to apply it quite thickly and evenly. Sure, it's a little bit of a waste, but that's the price you pay for a good finish sometimes. You can definitely apply it more thinly. I just don't find personally that I get as good results afterwards. Now, even though the manufacturer states that you only need to leave it for 2 to 3 minutes, I usually allow 10 to 15 minutes or so, just leaving it to penetrate the plastics and do its thing. It won't dry out. It won't be a problem. I've never had any issues doing it this way. Feel free to leave it less, but this is my method and it doesn't fail me. After the 10 to 15 minutes, we then remove it with cloths which will be thrown away, and we just buff it until it's dry to the touch. One last quick point, as I'm sure you've noticed, the wiper arms have already been removed, simply so that I can get into all the nooks and crannies and I don't have to work around other objects. I'm using cocktail sticks here just to finish those areas off and get into the little nooks and crannies around the edges and the corners where I can't get in with a microfiber applicator or a block, just to finish that off so it's even depending on any angle that you're looking at or from where you are stood near the vehicle. Removal should be as much of a breeze as the application was, but I caution you on a few little items here. Although technically this won't stain other surfaces that you get it on, I do think it pays dividends just to be a little bit careful when you're removing this, that you don't wipe it onto other surfaces. If you do, it's not the end of the world. Just remove it with another cloth, maybe some quick detailer or panel wipe if you haven't already waxed or coated the vehicle, but just try and take some care at this stage. Secondly, don't use your best cloths and don't expect to keep these cloths and reuse them. Again, although it technically doesn't contain any dyes and it technically doesn't stain, the black that you can see coming back off is the carbon that's been left over on the surface that hasn't penetrated. You really don't want this in the washing machine. You really don't want these cloths being mixed up with other cloths. So just those, a cautionary tale there, the two things. Try not to wipe it onto other surfaces. Do not try and reuse these cloths for anything particularly special. Other than that, easy peasy lemon squeezy, nice easy wipes. No need to apply tons of pressure, no need to keep chasing yourself around. It'll be smear free, it won't be greasy, it'll be nice, easy and effortless. Have a couple of cloths ideally to hand, wipe it over with one, remove the bulk and then go over a second time just to make sure that you have pulled off every last little bit that was on the surface. After that, you're golden. Okay, so now we understand the whats, the whys and the hows. It's probably time for us to ponder the pluses and the minuses, and there are a few of both. So let's start with the good. Although it's a very expensive product, a little does go a long way. So it does in fact work out very cost effective. Sure, it's a chunk of change up front, but it is a very cost effective, good value product. So secondly, from my experience, a second coat a month or so later will vastly increase your durability. The manufacturer states roughly 6 months durability. I don't think you're going to get that without a reapplication. But the good news is, after reapplication, I'm seeing 12 months plus. So that's vastly over what the manufacturer states. That's very good news. Thirdly, given that it dries to the touch, it can in theory be coated over. Now, I don't do this because I personally like the finish that it gives, and I like the fact that because it doesn't bead, you don't get water spotting and you don't get that sort of tidal staining. But in theory, because it's dry to the touch, because it isn't a dressing, there is nothing to disturb a ceramic coating bonding to it. So you could, in theory, wipe it down with a product like eraser a little while after curing, and then you could go over it with a coating, so you can get the best of both worlds. This is a restorative. It's a restoration product, but you can add a long-term protection product over the top to lock it in, and I do think that is probably going to be the sweet spot for most people, the best of both worlds. So what about the negatives? Well, yeah, okay, there are a couple, and I've already said it, it's expensive. I mean, 30ml is going to run you about £15, $14.95 in most places. The 340ml bottle is considerably better value at $39.95. So if you buy the big bottle, it's going to work out a lot cheaper, but if you're not a professional, you're probably going to end up wasting a lot of that product. So essentially wasting money ultimately. And lastly, and I would say the least important, is although it technically, in inverted commas, won't stain non-trim products, you got to be fast to remove any excess, because even though it doesn't stain, it's probably going to stain a little bit. So just mind your P's and Q's and wipe off any excess that you get quickly. In summary then, not a trim dressing and not a trim coating, a genuine trim restorer. We're using chemistry and science to reverse the signs of aging, to reverse the oxidation, to dissolve the oxidation, and then add carbon molecules into the trim. Application wise, use whatever applicator you need to get the job done. The manufacturer recommends microfiber applicators, and they certainly work best, but microfiber cloths, foam blocks, you see here I'm using a cut down ceramic coating block, earbuds, cotton, makeup applicators, just use whatever you've got to use to get the job done. Worry less about thick or thin coats and concentrate on trying to make even coats. If something looks good on the car, it will usually look good when it's off the car. Removal, just allow adequate time for that chemistry to happen. Manufacturer says 2 to 3 minutes. As you've seen throughout this video, I usually leave 10 to 15 minutes. Old cloths for removal are certainly cloths that you're not precious about and that you don't want to reuse. Do not wash them. This is my advice. Just throw them away afterwards, one and done. If you do get any on the body panels or the glass, again, technically it doesn't stain, but I wouldn't stand on ceremony. I would get it off as quickly as possible. Other than that, I think we've covered everything, and I think you will be absolutely golden when using it yourself. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for sticking around if you have. I will have lots more product videos coming. I know that this isn't some fancy spinning bottle, B-roll, ridden, glossy video. Trying to concentrate on the what's, whys and hows right now. All of that other stuff will come. But for now, I thank you for sticking around. I thank you for watching. Hope it's been useful. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you on the next one.